What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Horror Hangout. Boy, I tell you, I've been waiting to do this one for a very long time. I am a humongous fan of Quentin Tarantino. I'm a big fan of Kill Bill. But I like to dig deep. I like to find out what these guys are inspired by. I want to know where they came up with the ideas for their movies. And so I listen to a lot of podcasts. One thing that Quentin Tarantino has always talked about is his love for Grindhouse cinema, for Kung Fu, for things all over the world and from all eras. And one thing he's repeatedly brought up is Lady Snowblood. So we're going to talk about Lady Snowblood today. I'm going to talk about it just for a little bit. It's going to have some spoilers for the movie. I got a gore score review, so we're going to go over that. I'm so pumped, man. I got to see Lady Snowblood on the big screen last week. I got to watch it in the theater. And so, I mean, I don't even know really where to start. There's so many crazy things in this movie. Okay, so Lady Snowblood is from 1973. It was directed by Toshiya Fujita and is based on a manga, also called Lady Snowblood. The film recounts the tale of Yuki, a woman who seeks vengeance upon three of the people who essayed her mother and killed her father and her brother. It is a tale of vengeance. This is a brutal movie for 1973, but it is beautiful. The acting is phenomenal. The music's great. The the special effects are for 1973, bro. I'm telling you. So if you're interested in watching this movie, by the time we get to the end of this video, it is available on HBO Max and Criterion Collection channel at no additional charge. You can also watch it on any number of streaming services for $2.99. I think it was on YouTube and Prime Video for sure. So you can watch it on YouTube or Prime Video for $2.99 if you're interested at all. But this is a wonderful, I don't know if I should call it a kung fu or a samurai movie. I think it probably falls into the samurai movie. I don't even know, man. There's definitely a subgenre, but this is a Grindhouse flick if I've ever seen one. There is a sequel to it. I own it, haven't watched it yet. I was kind of hoping they would show a double feature at Alamo and we got to watch it, but no such luck. But this movie was the biggest inspiration for Lucy Liu's character. Was it O-Ren Ishii, Cottonmouth in Kill Bill? So if you watch this movie, within the first 10 minutes, you'll see exactly why that character is the way she is in Kill Bill. Now, I feel like she's inspired by it. I kept hearing for years and years that Kill Bill just completely ripped off Lady Snowblood. No, his character is very much inspired by Lady Snowblood, but there's a lot of differences. Quentin Tarantino's not afraid to take a film and really use lots of the story. He didn't do that in this instance. It is heavily inspired by physically from the image of how she dresses and how she walks and the things like that. But as far as the actual story, it's very different. So, but it is cool to note that without Lady Snowblood, we wouldn't have Cottonmouth the way that she is in that movie. And I love Kill Bill. It's one of my favorites, man. I just think that movie's rad. And the Crazy 88s are just such a cool gang, I guess, for lack of a better word. But so the movie starts out and it shows her walking through the snow and she's just being real quiet and minding her own business. And these guys, come around a corner on this road and there's snow everywhere and they got like a horse and like 6 or 7 guys, they're armed guards and whatnot. And she's like, oh, excuse me. She's carrying an umbrella and she's like minding her own business. And they walk past her and I think one of the guys kind of like looks up and they start talking. They find out that she's not just some random lady and she just marks them all, just gets them all, bro. I got to be careful with the way I describe this stuff because, YouTube be watching. Immediately you find out that this movie is going to be violent and action-packed, and the fight choreography is fantastic. The cinematography is amazing. The places that they film this are great. I really liked everything about this movie. I was a little surprised that it was in full color, being from 1973, and I don't know if this was a low-budget movie back then. I honestly don't know that much about the history of it. I should look into that. If you happen to know anything about that, let me know in the comments. Yeah, so basically she goes through and it backtracks, tells you the story of what happened, shows her being born, shows her mother and father being taken from her brother. And then she goes and she finds each person responsible. It was a gang of like 4 people that were responsible for this. She gets one at the beginning. There's 3 left. She goes to the movie and it shows her finding these people. It's awesome, man. I don't want to ruin everything about the movie. I think you should go watch it, but it is fantastic. I absolutely love this movie. There's so much to like about it. The fight scenes are awesome, man. I really thought that whenever a guy gets cut or slashed down the chest or something like that, it very much represents a manga, and he just goes, ah, and it just sprays, and it's practical. Like, there's a movie that came out called Ninja Assassin a few years back, and it was supposed to be this amazing movie where it really represented that kind of action, and the blood was all CG, and it made me disappointed in the way that I'm not often disappointed. So this being all practical was just a blast to watch. Let's talk about the gore score real quick, and I want to wrap this video up. I don't want to take too much time. I flat out give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. It is almost perfect. I don't know that there's anything I would change about it. I say 9.5 because there might be something in the later that I catch that I might change. Right now, I don't know what that would be. But this was an absolute blast to watch on the big screen, and I wish everybody could go with me. But I gave the special effects 10 out of 10 points. The story, 10 out of 10 points. It's a revenge story, but it's from the 70s. It's an early revenge story. It's done well. You get there's a bunch of stuff in the movie where when they're filming it, and it shows like they'll bring up one of the people she's chasing after, and it shows their face real big, and it looks like a comic book panel. I think they represented manga very well in this movie. The acting, I gave it an 8 out of 10 points because I think it could have been a little bit better, but it was very, very good. The dialogue, I gave it a 9 out of 10 because they say some wild stuff in this movie. There is some hilarious things said in this movie, some very not PC stuff said. The bad guy rating, I gave it a 10 out of 10. 10 points for the bad guy rating because anytime you get a gang of 4 and it involves like an assault like that on a woman, but the gang has a woman in it, it's so much more evil, at least in my opinion. But it's all fiction, but like, you know, it's so scary that way. And then the ending of the movie, I gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end. 10. So we start right off the bat, 57 points. There are 19 kills in this movie for 95 points. There's 3 severed limbs in the movie. That gives us 30 points. There are 3 scenes of torture, 30 more points. There are 2 scenes with drug use or drinking. I believe they were both drinking in this movie. That is 10 points. There were 13 non-lethal gunshots or stabbings. There were actually a couple of gunshots in this movie for 65 points. There were 6 fights in this movie for 30 points. That gets 25 extra points from being from 1973. Every decade back that we go, we get 5 extra points. And it's got Miko Kaji in the movie. She is from Female Prisoner Scorpion, I believe is what it's called. She's a legend, man. She's amazing. So we get 5 extra points for a legend bonus. That gives Lady Snowblood a gore score of 362 points. Dude, are you kidding me? A female-led, like, samurai revenge movie from 1973 got 360. That's pretty fantastic. As a matter of fact, there was a couple of things I didn't even mention. There was we got a couple of badass bonus points. There's 15 points that add up to get to this total 362. There was a sand bomb in this movie. Like, I never heard of that, but it was awesome. What a great thing. There's a point in the movie where this lady is hanging, and Lady Snowblood is like really pissed off at her. She's like hanging like dead, and she still goes up there and cuts her in half. And she just as she swings the sword, the transition happens, and it switches to an angle behind her, and it goes whack, and then her bottom goes blah, and just drops, and she hangs down, and sprays out like a pinata. Dude, it was awesome. Oh, and there's a fake out a la 007 in this movie, bro. Are you kidding me? There's so many great things about this movie. I beg you to go watch this movie. If you've got HBO Max, it is well worth your time to go check it out. This is a classic movie. This is one of my favorite Japanese movies, probably in my top 3, maybe favorite one ever. This movie's amazing. Yeah, man, Lady Snowblood, awesome movie. It inspired Quentin Tarantino to give us Cottonmouth and Kill Bill. It spawned a sequel. It represented manga very well. Dude, it's a beautiful movie, and I had a hell of a lot of fun watching it. I hope you go check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're a fan of this stuff, give me some other movies that you want me to review. I'll get to as many as I can, as fast as I can. And if you want to support the channel in any way further than that, you can check out my Etsy store where I do all my own merch. There's a link in the description, or you can hit up my Patreon. Either way is much appreciated. If you don't want to do either of those, no problem. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it none the less. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you real soon. All right. Peace.